support. So to begin with the implications of this bill on foreign policy and international obligations, my first concern, as has been raised by interventions of some members, is the conflation of Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories. By conflating this, East Jerusalem, the West Bank and the Golan Heights, we are breaking with our position. The UK recognises the Golan Heights as annexed and the West Bank and East Jerusalem as occupied Palestinian territories. This is a departure from our foreign policy. But not only does it break with our foreign policy, but Clause 3.7 puts the UK in breach of our UN Security Council resolution commitments under 2334. This is not just an international commitment, it is one that we drafted back in 2016. And in it states, in their relevant dealings, states must distinguish between the territory of the State of Israel and the territories occupied since 1967. This bill does not distinguish between our treatment of Israel and the OPT.
And having been in this House since the 1980s, I sat through many, many debates about South Africa. And there were many members over there, many, who supported the apartheid regime, openly supported the apartheid regime, called Mandela a terrorist, asked for the banning of the ANC in this country. And the ANC had its offices in my borough. SWAPO, South West Africa People's Organisation, which led to the liberation of Namibia, had its offices in my constituency. There were calls to ban them. And when local authorities, such as Sheffield, led the way on local authority action in opposition to apartheid, they faced sanctions from the government. And so, why were they so concerned about it, other than to prevent any effective, peaceful loyalty and support to the people of South Africa who were facing the horrors of the apartheid regime? And so, under this piece of legislation, what we did over South Africa would be impossible or illegal, and so you would then end up then suspending councillors, prosecuting local authorities, surcharging councillors. I'm not quite sure where it would lead to. Those of us that supported the people of Chile after General Pinochet had seized power and called for a boycott of Chilean goods and non-investment policy in Chile, again would be illegal. On a much more different basis, those of us that called for the boycott of Californian grapes during the time that the Californian grape pickers were facing such oppression from the police forces in California, again would be illegal. Or of all of the issues around the world we're faced with, such as Indonesia's behaviour in West Papua, such as the failure of Morocco to allow a referendum on the future of the Western Sahara, such as Saudi Arabia and its war against Yemen. Any expression of that would be banned by this piece of legislation. This is a terrifying bill that's been put forward here today.
Fundamentally flawed and dangerous bill. Honourable members across the House have quite rightly stated that it doesn't just prevent public bodies such as local councils from involving themselves in foreign policy, as the government innocently declare it does. It meddles in the autonomy of local government pension schemes to make the best investment decisions. It swings a wrecking ball through the UK's obligations to respect international law and countless United Nations resolutions. It undermines the ability of public bodies and civic society to divest from those who are harming our environment and driving climate change. It provides the government with unprecedented and deeply alarming powers of enforcement that curtail freedom of expression and democracy by gagging public bodies who have the audacity to speak and act on their conscience. And it forces public bodies and civic society to kneel against their own moral convictions to the Secretary of State's foreign policy.